It's raining here. What's it doing down in our nation's capital? Let's go there live via the miracle of satellite technology. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders joins us from in front of the White House. Sarah, almost Merry Christmas to you.
Good morning. Merry Christmas to you guys.
Thank you very much. So we know that the House has passed this bill. It's got $6 billion, about $6 billion worth of wall money in it. Now it goes over to Mitch McConnell and the Republicans in the Senate. Will they be able to pass this thing?
I certainly hope so. The House Republicans delivered a huge victory last night for border security, and we're very hopeful that the Senate will come through and help protect the American people. We have to put a stop to the massive inflow of drugs, human trafficking, and terrorists coming across our border. We need to know who's coming in, why they're coming, and what they're going to do when they get here. So we have to have an orderly process, and we need a wall and we need border security in order to have that. We have to protect the people of this country, and the president is going to stand firm and make sure that that happens one way or another.
Sarah, Senator Steve Daines, he tweeted out that the Senate can do the same by eliminating the filibuster, 51 votes, same as we do for judges. Is that something that you think they'll take seriously and actually do?
They should. This is such an important issue, and it's something that all of America wants to see happen. And frankly, Americans want to be protected. The Senate has a constitutional duty and a constitutional authority to actually protect our country. We can't be a sovereign country if we don't have borders and we don't have protection of American citizens. And so we hope that they'll step up and do their jobs today before they go home and take vacation for Christmas. This is something that's so important, and we hope that they'll do whatever is necessary to get the job done.
Well, we don't know anything that's on the schedule. Yesterday, I know a lot was ad-libbed in the afternoon, and they made a huge impact and had a substantial vote that showed that Nancy Pelosi was actually called out and proven flat out wrong. You got the vote, you passed out of the House. But is there anything?
That's not the first time, Brian. I don't suspect it'll be the last time. Nancy Pelosi has been around a long time, and I think she's going to be wrong a whole lot over the next couple of years as well.
Yeah, but she was so blatantly wrong and such black and white. She must feel humiliated today to a degree. But I'm wondering, the way it used to be is that the House has one vision and the Senate has another. They work it out and talk. Is there a sense that they might want to go home for Christmas and maybe meet halfway on some of these issues? Do you know of anything on the schedule, whether visits to the White House or meetings on the Capitol?
Look, we'll do whatever we need to do and whatever we can do to help the process, but at this point, it's up to the Senate. One thing that I think has been missed and didn't get a lot of coverage yesterday was what we have worked out, what this administration has been able to do in conjunction with the Mexican government, and the massive and monumental moment that took place yesterday where catch and release has ended. And it's a sad day in America when the Mexican government is doing more to protect the American people than Senate Democrats. I hope that they will not let that be the case by the end of the day, and they will work with us and work with the president and Senate Republicans to get this done and let everybody go home and let us start building the wall and let us start protecting our border.
Well, we have heard a lot of rhetoric on both sides. The big question is, will the president still be going to Mar-a-Lago for his 2-week Christmas vacation, even if there is a government shutdown, which he says I'm okay with, according to Politico?
If there is a government shutdown, the president will stay here in Washington, D.C. But again, we're hopeful that people will step up and do their jobs today and get that done.
Sarah, realistically, what are the odds? I know you're not a betting woman, but what are the odds that the Senate will pass something and there will not be a government shutdown?
That's a question you'll have to ask the Senate. I think they have a much better feel for what they're capable of doing.
What is the philosophy right now at the White House about it?
The president's been extremely clear. If they don't get this done, then he's shutting down the government. And he said that just a few minutes ago via Twitter. And the president's not going to back down on this, and he's going to stand firm because it's so important and it's such a vital part of our democracy to make sure that we're protecting our borders and protecting the people of the country.
It's too bad the Republicans were so slow to realize that. Meanwhile, Secretary of Defense Mattis has decided to retire. In a lengthy letter, I looked everywhere, Sarah. Now, any praise for the president. The president praised him. He's leaving, basically, it seems, because of the way the president treats our allies, in his view, and the pullout in Syria and Afghanistan seems to have been too much. How bad is the relationship right now?
Look, they continue to have a good relationship, but they disagree on a number of fronts that he outlined. And but at the end of the day, the American people elected one person to be the commander-in-chief and to make decisions. The president listens to all of his national security team, of which is a big group. He takes their advice, and at the end of the day, he makes the decision. That's what he was elected to do. And if Secretary Mattis doesn't feel like he's the right person to fill that job, I think it was the right thing and an honorable thing that he did in stepping aside to put somebody in a position he feels like is the right person for that time. Look, and he served the president and this country. He served in this administration for 2 years, and he served the country and the military for over 4 decades. An incredible person, an incredible servant to this country, and somebody that we have the highest amount of respect for, and wish him very well and look forward to continuing to work with him over the next 2 months. Let's not forget, he's not just walking out the door. This will be an orderly process, and it will continue to be a good relationship over these next couple of months.
Who's on the list for his replacement?
I think there are a lot of people that are on that list. The good news is we have a strong deputy at the Defense Department that can help hold the ground while we transition and look for a new person and go through the confirmation process.
Right, Sarah, a lot of people, when the president announced the drawdown in Syria and Afghanistan, if you're watching a lot of the channels, people are very concerned about it. But if you've been watching Donald Trump for the last couple of years, this is something he has been talking about. This is one of the reasons people voted for him.
Exactly. Anybody that says they're surprised by this has simply been living under a rock. The president has been talking about this since the campaign. He brought it up again 8 months ago, 6 months ago. He's wanted to bring our troops home. Yeah. Look, our goal and the president's purpose of continuing to be in Syria was to defeat ISIS. We've defeated the territorial caliphate. 99% of ISIS has been wiped out of Syria. The president doesn't want to be in the middle of another civil war in the Middle East and put American lives on the line for that purpose. He wants to bring the men and women of our armed forces home, and that's what he pledged to do, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Sarah, he's giving Russia a big win. Vladimir Putin praised him. He also is doing exactly what he criticized President Obama for doing. He said President Obama is the founder of ISIS. He just refounded ISIS because they got 30,000 men there, and they're already striking back with our would-be evacuation. The president's got it. He's really on the griddle with this.
Brian, I have to respectfully and vehemently disagree with you. The idea that the president has had anything to do with helping ISIS reemerge is absolutely outrageous. The president has put so much emphasis on rebuilding and making sure we have the strongest military on the face of the planet. If ISIS wants to pick a fight with somebody, they sure as heck don't want to pick one with Donald Trump, because he will destroy them and defeat them, and he's made that extremely clear. We've wiped out 99% of ISIS in Syria. The president doesn't want to be in the middle of a civil war in the Middle East and continue to put American lives on the line. If we need to fight ISIS again, the president's not afraid to do that.
All right, Sarah, thank you so much. We wish you a very Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
You're
Merry
welcome.
Christmas, guys.